My name is Melissa Tetero. I am home on my lunch break to record this, so I apologize if I am a little bit scattered. I'm in the middle of a particularly long shift today. I also know that I have a tendency to talk quickly if I am thinking as I am talking or looking at notes because I just think exponentially faster than I can talk. I will try very hard not to do this. However, if for some reason I do end up going through too quickly through something and if it's difficult to understand, just let me know in the comments and I will try to clarify it for you. This particular case study hits very close to home for what I am actually going to school for. I am a psychology major, but I have taken several extra pre-med courses along the way because I am intending to become a research physician when all is said and done. I am halfway there at this point. This is very likely the type of thing that I will come across in my own career when all is said and done. The patient in this particular case study she's in a drug trial for a chemotherapy alternative that is currently being tested for its toxicity, and she is the only one who has been able to get this far in the trial because everyone else has just gotten too sick. She is in phase 4 of 6. If she completes 1, hopefully 2 more, then the drug will be allowed to move on to the next phase. If this particular patient drops, it's very likely that the drug will be scrapped and the physician will have to start over elsewhere. In the case of this patient, she is not experiencing problems with the toxicity. However, one of the 3 lesions in her body has experienced a 22% growth. And while it may not be a life-threatening one in itself, it stands to reason that the other 3 will soon follow suit, and one of her present lesions is on her liver. It has managed to maintain throughout the trial thus far, which is abnormal for the way her cancer has progressed so far. However, if she were to act in a manner that her oncologist would likely suggest and go back to focusing on it, she will be unable to remain in the trial. As of right now, the patient has not decided which way she intends to go about this. She has discussed it with her own personal physician, and she is soon to have a sit down with the physician who is in charge of the trial. So as such, there's a bit of a conflict of interest here for him. Whenever you become a physician, there's a particular oath that you have to take. Pretty much everyone knows it as the do no harm oath, although that's not actually a part of it. It's the Hippocratic Oath, and I suppose that is one way to surmise it. Whenever you swear in, you are saying that you will respect the scientific gains made thus far and do your best to continue to further the field for those that will come after you. You will avoid overtreatment, and you'll respect your obligation to your fellow human beings and do your best to keep them in sound mind and body. There's a lot more to it than that. However, those are the aspects that would pertain specifically to this. Whether you're looking at the extended version or the condensed do no harm version, this code is the primary ethical code for physicians. So in a sense, while this particular physician may not be actively harming this patient, he still has to take into consideration the lives that he has the potential to benefit positively if, when this patient comes looking for advice, he tries to sway her in the direction of remaining in the trial. However, this may be at the cost of her life, which again falls back into that same catch-22. The physician holds an obligation both to his future patients as well as his present patient in terms of this. It's very likely that she will try to lay the decision in the clinical physician's hands, as he is someone that she has trusted with her well-being up until this point. There are conflicts here in multitudes. By applying the utilitarian approach to this particular dilemma, we can break it down in terms of the greatest balance of good over harm, and when looking at it this way, the life of one doesn't necessarily matter in the grand scale against the lives of many. However, in the same sense, it is difficult to place a value on a life, and while the utilitarian approach makes sense in a lot of aspects of medicine, in this particular trial, I feel like it would still weigh very heavily on the doctor. This would probably be the simplest approach to take in terms of finding a way for him to be able to sleep at night. However, its real application is going to hinge drastically on the physician's confidence in the drug that he is testing. That particular aspect was not made clear in the case study as it was presented. If we were to apply Kant's approach to ethics, then we would also have to consider how the physician would feel were the roles reversed if he were the one involved in this study. And from that respect, he is seeking advice from someone that he trusts with his own life. And it is entirely possible that the patient will take the utilitarian approach herself. However, from Kant's perspective, the best thing for the physician to do would be to not only respect her bodily autonomy to the extent that we are already taught to do, but to be extraneously careful with that, to ensure that she knows absolutely every possible aspect of this risk and the potential risks and what exactly can happen to her body from here. We are already taught to do that. Respect to bodily autonomy is one of the most important aspects of medicine. However, in this particular case, I believe he needs to go above and beyond with that. There is always a bit of room in the knowledge that you can assume is innate with a patient, and some things that you may or may not clarify as you just assume that they understand the weight of it. In this particular regard, as it is very much her life against the lives of many, many others, it is best for the physician to step away from this as much as possible. It is likely that her personal physician will also go over these risks and benefits with her, and he has reason to be far less conflicted about this particular decision. The other physician can act as a springboard. It is likely that that is exactly what she will be seeking from the clinical physician whenever they have their meeting. However, according to the case study, her own oncologist will also be present for this meeting. And I believe it is too much a conflict of interest for the physician in charge of the clinical to really be of any kind of assistance to her beyond explaining its merit. Regardless of what the patient chooses here, and regardless of how much the clinical physician tries to detach himself from the situation, this is one in which he is very much going to continue to carry the weight of this decision. I realize that that is the case for most large decisions in medicine. However, whenever we look at research, and this is why I chose the utilitarian approach, our decisions and the way that we may or may not influence patients and studies has the potential to affect so much more than just that study or just that patient and the participants and our immediate careers. It can affect medicine as a whole. So either way, I believe that it is best that the physician explain the risks and benefits as thoroughly as possible with regard to how he would feel in this situation, and refuse to offer further advice were he asked, because she may not trust it entirely as it is. She will understand the benefits that he has in terms of continuing the study, and this needs to rest entirely on the patient and potentially her personal oncologist. And yeah, were I in the physician's shoes, that is exactly how I would handle this one. I believe that those two approaches to ethics are definitely the most applicable for this situation. And if I stumbled through or spoke too fast on any of that, like I said, just let me know in the comments and I will do my best to clarify. Thank you very much. Bye.